Last year was the first time since 2004 that funding has increased rather than gone down. And that's because of people like you that made it happen. So let's give a round of applause for that. So what's happened since July 2012? This report clearly said what the problem was and clearly said what the solution needs to be. Nothing's happened since then, though.
Nothing.
There's been a work plan on the table between the EPA and the DNR for months that the DNR has refused to sign. Why? We know why.
Corporate money.
Corporate money, exactly. And more specifically, we know why because we filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the federal government and the state of Iowa. The state of Iowa told us they didn't have any paperwork for us. The feds turned over a letter dated May 20th by Governor Branstad. It was sent to Gina McCarthy in Washington, D.C., over the head of Region 7 of the EPA that oversees the state of Iowa, demanding, basically disputing the entire idea of strong and effective public oversight over factory farms, and demanding a meeting in Iowa between the governor's office, the DNR, and the EPA, and what Branstad called regulated parties or regulated interests. And within 10 days, the EPA said, whatever you want, Mr. Branstad, we will come down and meet with you. So we exposed that, and it was in, the Associated Press did a big story, and this was about 3 weeks ago, and it was all over the news. Well, 2 weeks ago, the first meeting happened. It was, it had never happened like this on this issue before. Branstad convened a meeting between him, the DNR, and the EPA, and the Iowa Farm Bureau, the Iowa Pork Producers Association, the Turkey Growers Federation, the Poultry Growers Federation. If you put an animal in a confined building, you were in that meeting, basically. So that, and it's not the first one. They've had two that we know of so far, and they're going to continue to have these meetings until forever. But why are they doing it? Branstad wants the industry in the room so that nothing meaningful gets accomplished, so that nothing meaningful gets done. And we're exposing it, which is important. It's important that Iowans know who's pulling the strings. Branstad's pulling the strings, but the industry is pulling his strings. And it's important that everybody knows it, and now they do. That's big. But we can't stop there, though. That's not good enough. Because we need a strong work plan so that we can crack down on factory farm pollution. We can have inspections for every factory farm, some of them for the first time ever, and we can get Clean Water Act permits for the polluters. And when they spill, we can crack down on them with tough fines and penalties. Not just a slap on the wrist, but serious time, including criminal charges if necessary. What we need to do then is, there's all this great energy in the room today. There's similar energy all over the state, in the Quad Cities, in Joe Seng's district. All these factory farm fights we're seeing in rural communities across Iowa. There's so much sentiment there for something to get done. But we have to harness that sentiment and take that energy and move it into strategic action that can force policymakers to make concessions to us as everyday people, as people that want to see the common good advanced, to see the communities be put before corporations, and people be put before profits, politics, and polluters. Are you guys with me on that? Yeah. So last Monday we had a very small group of CCI members, about maybe 8 or 10 folks, maybe a dozen, and we went down to Governor Branstad has a press conference at 9 a.m. every Monday at the state capitol, a weekly press conference. So we knew exactly where he was going to be. And we went there and basically just vigiled inside of his office before his press conference started, and handed out leaflets. Sheree Ortiz was there. She told some of her personal stories. Barb Lang was there. She told some of her personal stories. Jim Youngclass was there. A few other folks in this room were there. And it was very, very powerful. And actually, at the end of the press conference, one of Branstad's top staffers came out, and we dialogued for several minutes, which was also, a good way for us to move our issues forward, to make sure somebody in charge was hearing us. But we want to go back next Monday to his press conference. There's press in the room, whatever. It's a public event, public press conference. We have a right to be there, and we need to make a statement. But instead of bringing 12 people like we did 2 days ago, yesterday, what if we brought 120 people?
Yeah.
Do you think Branstad might get the message then?
Yeah.
So, well, okay. Fair. That's a fair point, but it's a start. It's a start. He needs to get the message, and other people across Iowa need to get the message, and we have to keep the pressure on.
right.
And direct action, going and vigiling in front of a decision maker like the governor is one of the tools that we have as people to exert our power and our agenda instead of always having to accept what they're saying. So we have a sign-in sheet on the wall Monday, August 12th. We're going to meet at our office at 8 in the morning. It's a little bit early, but justice never sleeps. And the early bird gets the worm, right? The Farm Bureau is up at 8 in the morning trying to screw us over. They are. So we have to be up that early too. So we're going to meet at the CCI office at 8. We're going to do a quick prep for 30 minutes. Then we're going to roll down to the state capitol, deliver a message to Governor Branstad in person. What was that? Somebody said that? Okay, deliver a message to Governor Branstad in person, and then vigil outside of his press conference to put pressure on him. So what I want folks to do, and we're asking you to to dig deep. This is important, and this is the way that we win on our issue. Everybody that can come next Monday and meet us right here in this office at 8 in the morning. We'll be done by 10 o'clock or 10:30. So we're not asking an all-day commitment. This is a couple hours. The folks that can come at 8 in the morning next Monday and help us do this, put your hands in the air and then keep them up until we can write your names down. Okay? I see Joe Fagan. Connie Soretti.
She'll watch us.
Rex Basson.
Rex.
Rex Basson.
All right.